Hi everyone, Alexa here from the blog theduvalhomestead.com, where I like to share with you our homesteading, farm-to-table recipes, and homemade natural living. And today I want to share with you how we make homemade fermented chicken feed. We only have a couple backyard chickens, but we really like to feed them this fermented feed because it saves money, it is cleaner, and it is super healthy for them with all the probiotics and the gut healthy bacteria that you get from fermented food. If you are new to chicken keeping and you want to find out more about what you should be feeding your chickens and how to make your own feed, I will leave a couple really helpful links below this video, and you can hop over to my blog at theduvalhomestead.com, and I write about what we feed our chickens. You will also find the full recipe for what I'm going to show you today in that post. Chickens are very messy eaters, and if you feed them dry food, they will kick it around, scratch it all over the place, and it will sit on the ground, it will get moldy, it'll get dirty, and they don't want it anymore, so they can be very wasteful. So you can't just put a bowl of food in a chicken coop. They will not eat it, they'll just end up scratching it around, and they'll probably eat some of it, but not all of it. What I like about fermented chicken feed is that it's wet, and so it doesn't fly around, they can't kick it, and so it's a lot less wasteful. Also, when you ferment their grain and their food, it expands, and so they eat less of it because they're getting a more nutritious grain than if they were just eating it dry. A lot of people ferment or make their own chicken feed just because it's so healthy, it's easy if you can buy in bulk, and it's a nice way to control what your chickens are eating, which is so important because you're going to be eating their eggs, so you want to know what they're eating as well. Now, you can absolutely make your own chicken feed and ferment it if you have dozens of chickens and a big flock. I've seen people do this, and they just take a whole tray of it and they bring it out every morning. We only have a couple of chickens, so we're going to be doing a half-gallon amount of fermented chicken feed. So I have this half-gallon mason jar here, and I'm going to fill it up about 3/4 of the way with different food items, and then I'll pour it with water, and then I will leave space at the top to let it grow and ferment. This takes about 2 days total, and then this will last our chickens a little over a week. And they also get dry layer feed, and they get scratch, and they get mealworms, and they get grit and oyster shells. So of course there are a lot more components to their diet, and they free roam, than just what's in here. But this is a nice way for me to know that every day they're getting probiotics and they're getting some really nice gut healthy fermented food, in addition to all the other food that they get during the day. So if you are new to chicken keeping, you're going to want to make sure you have all the right food items for your chickens because they require a lot of different calcium and protein and vitamins and minerals in order to make eggs. Okay, so we're going to add a few different things in here. Now, like I said, the full recipe for what I do usually is going to be on my blog at theduvalhomestead.com. But you can change things up, and sometimes I don't have all of the ingredients, so I'm going to show you based on what I have today what I would normally do. So in this half-gallon mason jar, I'm going to start with about 25% organic layer feed. So this is the organic layer feed I have. It's a crumble, so I'm just going to pour that in. And then about 20% organic scratch. This is grain, black sunflower seeds. This is a really great scratch. I'll leave all the links to the products I'm using below this video, but you can use any scratch and layer feed that you normally like for your chickens. About 10% rolled oats. Now, I'm actually using steel cut oats right now, but you could use rolled oats as well. My ratios might be a little off. About the same amount, 10% or so, cracked organic corn. About a tablespoon or two organic chia seeds. And then I'm using this Coop Kelp from Fresh Eggs Daily. It is a feed supplement, and it's got kelp in it, which we don't have at our house. So I like buying this because it's a nice way to boost their immune system. So I do about 2 scoops of that in this. And then I will do about a cup or so of frozen or dried peas. Pea protein is a really great protein for the chickens. I'm not gonna put it in right now because I don't need to ferment this because I already have some going in my fridge. but I'm gonna save all the dry ingredients for next week when I do a new batch. So I would normally add another layer of peas. Now, another thing I would add to this, sometimes I'll do pumpkin seeds, or I'll even do dried cranberries, various dried fruits or vegetables or seeds that you might have around that you want your chickens to have. Okay, so once all your ingredients are in your jar, in the half-gallon jar, so you can see it's a little over halfway filled, the next step I would do is I would fill this up with water. I would give it a really big stir, fill it up with water to the very top, and keep an eye on it because the grain will absorb the water. So you might think you have enough water, but then it just eats all the water up and there's no more water. So you fill it up, and you might have to fill it up again, but you want it to be about to the rim of the jar. So you don't want to fill it up to the top, fill it to about the bottom of the rim, because when it ferments, it will explode. And I'll show you what that looks like now. So this is our feed that's been fermenting for 2 days. And what you want to do is you take this, once it's filled up with water, and you're going to lay a lid on it, but you don't want to screw it in tightly. When things ferment, they expand. So what it will do is it will push out all the water, and all of the grain and everything inside will be fermented and nice and gut healthy with all those probiotics and the good bacteria. And so it will grow. So you'll end up with something like this, which looks really funny, but what you want to do is put the jar in a container because the water will spill out. Otherwise, it will spill onto your counter. So I put it in a nice little baking dish here, and then I just rest the lid on top because the lid will come out. So at this point, this is ready, and I will scoop off this top part. These are all the sunflower seeds. I'll give this another big stir, and I'll feed some to the chickens, and then I'll put this lid on tightly now, and I'll put it in the fridge. And it will continue to ferment in the fridge, but really slowly, so you don't have to worry about it exploding. So this is what it looks like when it's done. And then I usually give my hens a couple scoops per day. If they don't eat all of it, then I give them less. If they're eating all of it, then I'll give them more. Sometimes they go through phases of liking it or not liking it, but they do get it every day, and they do really like it, and it saves us a lot of money and space and cleanup because it's so easy for them to eat it, and they eat less food and they waste less as well. All right, well, there you have it. That's how you make homemade fermented chicken feed. Make sure you check out my blog post at theduvalhomestead.com for more information about the ratios of protein to vitamins and minerals that chickens need in their diet, and all the other things that they need like calcium and grit. So you want to make sure you're feeding your chickens a nice balanced diet. And I will leave a couple really helpful links below that I learned how to make this from. If you do make this and your chickens like it, make sure you tag me on Instagram at the Duval Homestead or Facebook. I'd love to see and find out that you are enjoying this recipe. We really enjoy it. We make it every single week, and our chickens do too. If you are new to my channel, make sure you subscribe on YouTube and like on Facebook. Every week I post new farm-to-table recipes, homesteading, and our homemade natural living from our homestead in Duval. Thanks so much for stopping by.